Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi returns after cutting short his Saudi Arabia visit, holds security meeting at the airport immediately upon his arrival, briefed by External Affairs Minister, National Security Advisor and Foreign Secretary. Search operation for the gruesome attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam continues. At least 16 killed and several injured. Efforts on to bring the attackers to justice. Union Home Minister Amit Shah, J&K Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and Chief Minister Omar Abdullah hold key meetings on terror attack in Pahalgam, vow to neutralize the terrorists. World leaders condemn Pahalgam terror attack, extend unstinted support to India, calls it a deeply disturbing news and a brutal crime. And International Monetary Fund slashes global growth forecasts, warns trade war risks worsening outlook. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in New Delhi this morning after concluding his visit to Saudi Arabia. Prime Minister Modi was on a two-day state visit to Saudi Arabia at the invitation of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. However, he cut short his visit following the terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. Immediately on his arrival, Prime Minister Modi took a briefing at the airport with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, External Affairs Minister Dr S Jaishankar and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri to discuss the situation in view of the terror attack. And DD India's Ravi Dhiman joins us on the phone line from New Delhi on the story. Ravi, Prime Minister Modi is holding an urgent meeting on the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Tell us what has conspired in the meeting as per your sources, and what is the message this meeting sends across to the entire country?
Well, Tanvi, the message that this meeting sends across to the entire country, especially to the citizens of India who are worried with this latest dastardly attack, is that Prime Minister has taken control of the situation. He has cut short a very important visit to Saudi Arabia. He's come back and we can say immediately upon his arrival, he has taken stock of the situation. When we see the visuals of his descending down from Air India One, he met the Foreign Secretary there and then waved to the NSA Ajit Doval, who was perhaps waiting for him at the cavalcade to come and join him in the meeting at the airport itself. We know the Prime Minister's plane arrives at the technical area of the IGI airport, and there's a small technical area building there. Prime Minister has chosen to take on-the-spot briefing from the officials concerned at the airport itself, and it shows that Prime Minister is seized of the matter. His immediate focus is to get on-hand briefing by the officials who have been following the attack and the related developments since yesterday upon his arrival. And this shows the seriousness and the commitment of Prime Minister to the zero tolerance on terror. That has been a cornerstone and main focus of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government so far, aptly demonstrated by the surgical strikes and the Balakot attack. So Prime Minister has been very forthright and unwavering in his stand that there has to be zero tolerance on terror. And his coming back from such an important tour, taking briefing and impromptu meeting of the officials at the airport itself, not wasting even a minute, not perhaps waiting for his cavalcade to reach his residence, which is around 15 minutes drive from the airport, considering the traffic restrictions. Even then, he didn't wait for that to happen, and he took an impromptu meeting at the airport itself. It shows his eagerness to get all the information from the officials concerned, and his unwavering commitment to assure the countrymen that he is seized of the matter, and the country's policy of zero tolerance on terror will continue unhindered.
Ravi, the security situation had improved considerably in Kashmir in recent years, and there was a surge in tourism too in the valley. Probably this hurts the nefarious elements operating from the neighboring soil of Pakistan. So what will it take to completely root out terrorism in Kashmir?
Well, the government has been, taking a very calibrated approach as far as terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. They've taken a number of steps, a number of very important steps that have, almost strangled the terrorism in the valley. It's brought back tourists to the valley. Abrogation of Article 370 was a very important step in the same direction. They have enforced a security perimeter around the border, around the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. And they have made many significant changes to the outlook of the security forces. They have made the unwavering commitment to zero tolerance on terror a policy of the government, and made it known to the army and the security forces that government will stand behind them in their war against terror, and any step that the security forces take to eliminate terror will have full ironclad support of the government. Apart from that, the government has been working on multi-pronged approach to increase the commerce and economic activity in the valley, to increase the flow of tourists in the valley. And perhaps for the past 3 years, the arrival of tourists in Jammu and Kashmir has been on the ascent, and that aptly shows in the figures that you get from the Kashmir Valley. This is a much important tourist season for the entire Jammu and Kashmir region, the most important season perhaps of the year for them. A main season where tourists from all over India come to Kashmir and spend few days there. It's such a beautiful place that the tourists who come from many parts of India, they don't mind spending more than 7 days, 8 days at a stretch, in Kashmir, visiting Srinagar, Gulmarg, Sonmarg, and Pahalgam. So tourism was also on the ascent. Tourist arrivals were increasing year-on-year basis, and that perhaps rattled the nefarious, the terror perpetrators. That tourists' arrival certainly mean economic activity will increase in the valley, and that will lead to overall, the prosperity in the valley, and that's why this dastardly attack has taken place. But the government has made clear that its push for infrastructure improvement, its push for improvement in trade and commerce in the valley will continue unhindered. And so will the government's commitment to root out terror and make Kashmir a really safe haven for people from all across the country.
Thank you very much, Ravi Dhiman, for all those updates. So for those who are still joining us, at least 16 people were killed after gunmen opened fire on a group visiting Pahalgam, a popular tourist destination in South Kashmir on Tuesday. The attack took place in Baisaran Meadow, around 5 kilometers from Jammu and Kashmir's resort town of Pahalgam. Among the dead were tourists from several states, including Karnataka, Maharashtra, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. A young Indian Navy officer from Karnal, Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, who had recently married, was also killed in the attack. As news of the terror attack targeting tourists in Kashmir spread, the Resistance Front, TRF, alias Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, the banned Pakistan-based terror group, claimed responsibility for the attack. Security across the Kashmir Valley has been increased manifold after killing of several tourists in Pahalgam terror attack. The joint combing operation by the Army, CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force and the J&K Police is underway in the region. The operation has been expanded to 5-kilometer radius from the attack location in Pahalgam. Special forces, sniper dogs and other technical intelligence means have been deployed to track down the attackers. Condemning the gruesome terror attack, Union Home Minister Amit Shah held a high-level meeting in Srinagar. He also briefed Prime Minister Narendra Modi about the incident. Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police briefed Home Minister upon his arrival. J&K Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, Union Home Secretary and Director of Intelligence Bureau were present at the time of the briefing. The Home Minister vowed that those involved in this dastardly act of terror will not be spared, and the Indian government will come down heavily on the perpetrators with the harshest consequences. And DD India's Salman Qazi joins us from Srinagar on the story. Salman, up first, give us the latest about the terror attack, how exactly it was carried out, and the number of fatalities and the condition of the wounded.
The attack took place yesterday afternoon at a small valley called Baisaran. It is near the Pahalgam town on a trail of 15 to 20 minutes, which is around 4 to 5 kilometers from from Pahalgam. A group of terrorists attacked tourists at a place where they usually go to have Maggie, or because that's the usual. They take a trail and they go and have Maggie, etc. at that place. And it seems that this attack was planned, and they might have wrecked the area. And so after the attack, the terrorists went into the forest, and there has been an operation launched. The casualty figures have not been officially communicated to any of the media. However, what we have reports that the casualty figures might be as high as 26, and most of the injured have been taken to the hospitals. Some of the seriously injured were taken to Army Base Hospital and other hospitals. So there has been, but the casualty figures and the exact injury figures have not been communicated officially as of yet, right now.
Okay, Salman, what more can you share with us about the search operation being conducted by the security forces?
The search operation has been began yesterday itself after the attack. Within half an hour of the attack, the security forces had cordoned off the area. However, you have to understand that the area is a very it's a forested area. And these forests are not these are not very small forests, and these are very dense and forests of thousands of square kilometers. And these are all connected from here to Pahalgam to Srinagar to Kishtwar. So we have a huge patch of these mountainous forest areas which are intercept with the alpine meadows. So this search operation is going to be a very prolonged. This is going to be a very long, and the security forces, I'm sure that they will go very methodically about it. This is not something where they can go in and choke in a few choke points. They will have to launch multiple search operations across different meadows, across different forests. So it will be an operation that will be logistically very difficult for the security forces, and but nevertheless they will be undertaking this operation.
So indeed, this terrorist attack is coming when the tourist season is at its best in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, will today's incident in any way affect the tourism sector and, of course, the Amarnath Yatra coming in the following months?
I think the tourism sector would be severely impacted. There will be a huge. We're already getting reports that there have been mass cancellations of hotel bookings. Air India has announced 2 flights just to accommodate the passengers or the tourists who were here. Who want to reschedule and go out as soon as possible. So somebody who had a flight yesterday, they want to get out today. So you can see this reflects kind of a chilling effect this has on tourists. It's a very traumatic experience for the tourists. I think I'm not sure that any tourists who would be kind of wanting to. I'm not sure what will be the long-term impact, but I'm sure that this year the tourism sector will be definitely very subdued, and there won't be many people who would want to come and visit, and basically it will be very difficult for them to psychologically convince themselves to go to relax to a place where there might be chances of attacks on them.
Okay, Salman, a shutdown call by the Kashmir and Jammu travel and trade bodies has been announced. Give us details of that, and are they all in one voice here?
Yeah, definitely. There has been a unanimous shutdown call by most of the trade bodies, and I'm sure that the impact would be very comprehensive and on transport, on the shops, and etc. Usually the markets here start to open at around 8:30. So I'm sure that in some time we will be able to show you visually that the impact has been comprehensive. But yeah, in terms of bodies, the fruit growers body, the trade federations, the transport federation, the private schools association, there have been calls of a band and by all of them, and not only here but also in Jammu, but also in various towns in the Jammu region, Doda, Kishtwar, and here in Srinagar also.
Okay, Home Minister Amit Shah, we know, is in Srinagar. He held a high-level meeting yesterday. Tell us about that, and will he also review the security apparatus today as well?
I think he will be having one more meeting today. To review the security. I'm sure that yesterday security review meeting was done, which was attended by the LG Manoj Sena, Chief Minister Umar Abdullah, and all the top security officials of the state from JK Police, Army, and the CRPF and intelligence agencies. And I'm sure that there will be one more follow-up review meeting for that thing. And yesterday's meeting. It was communicated that the Home Minister has expressed a commitment that these attackers have to be pursued at any cost.
Okay, finally, Salman, if you could tell us a bit more on what's been the reaction by the locals of the state and regional leaders, for that matter.
We witnessed spontaneous protests across all the big towns. In Jammu, in Doda, in Srinagar, in Baramulla, in Handbara, there were candlelight marches all across by very common people who came out and they basically protest against the killings and expressed their grief and said that this is not acceptable. Very unanimous condemnation all across, from common people to all significant political actors. The Chief Minister expressed deep anguish. Meanwhile, Umar Farooq, he has also condemned the attack. All the religious leaders who have expressed anger and grief at this. Sajad Lone, Mehbooba Mufti, Junaid Azim Mattu, most of the political leaders across all spectrums, they have they have condemned this thing and expressed their grief, and that has also reflected on the ground. Most of the common people, most of these protests were very spontaneous. They were not organized by anyone or on anyone's prodding. They were done by people on their own, and I'm sure that and today's Bandh also would be kind of a reflection also on the kind of unanimity with which the society here in Jammu and Kashmir has condemned this attack.
Very unfortunate. The whole country stands in shock. Thank you very much, Salman Qazi, for all those updates. The Pahalgam terror attack has shaken the entire nation. One of the survivors, 61-year-old Vinubhai Dabi from Bhavnagar, Gujarat was injured in the attack. His daughter Sheetalben Dabi has now shared a significant update regarding his health and the tragic incident that unfolded in Pahalgam.
मेरे माता पिता श्रीनगर घूमने के लिए गए तो वहां से वो पहलगाम गए थे। तो पहलगाम वो घूम रहे थे मिनी स्विट्जरलैंड में, तो अचानक आतंकी हमला हुआ। तो इसमें मेरे फादर को हाथ में गोली लग गई, तो अभी वो हॉस्पिटलाइज है, लेकिन अभी तो उसको अच्छा है। उसका इंटरव्यू हमने देखा।
The terror attack that swept through Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam on Tuesday has left behind a grieving family, grieving families rather, in various cities across the country, including in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Shubham Dwivedi, a newlywed who had gone to Kashmir with his wife for a short vacation, was among the civilians killed in the attack. Speaking to media, his cousin Saurabh Dwivedi alleged that the terrorist started firing after asking the names of the individuals and was shot in the head.
जिनको गोली लगी है वो शुभम द्विवेदी मेरे चचेरे भाई हैं। इस 17 तारीख को यहाँ से गए थे। करीबन 11 लोगों का एक ग्रुप था जो कश्मीर भ्रमण करने गए थे। तो वहाँ पर अलग अलग जगहें सोनमर्ग और गुलमर्ग वगैरह यहाँ सब घूमने गए थे। आज ये पहलगाम में थे, तो वहाँ पर शुभम भैया उनकी अभी 12 फरवरी को ही शादी हुई है। तो वो और उनकी वाइफ घुड़सवारी करते हुए गए हुए थे ऊपर। वहाँ पर जानकारी हम लोग को ऐसे हुई कि भाभी ने फोन किया नीचे ताऊ जी को कि शुभम भैया को गोली मार दी है सर पर। ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि नाम पूछने के बाद गोलीबारी वहां पर शुरू करी है और सर पे गोली मारी गई है।
The attack has claimed the lives of several tourists, including Prashant Satpathy, an accounts officer from Odisha. Prashant was killed in the attack, leaving his family with no information about his wife and young son who were travelling with him. Speaking to reporters, his elder brother, Sushant Satpathy, recalled the moment when the family received this heart-wrenching news.
फोन किया था, जो स्टोर में लिखा था, जो टोल फ्री नंबर जो लिखा था उस नंबर को डायल किया। अभी तक वो बोले जे प्रशांत सब डेड हो गए। इतना ही। मेरा छोटा भाई छोटा जो भाई का बीबी है वो भतीजा है, वो कहाँ पर है कैसे है मेरे को पता नहीं। फोन तो नहीं लग रहा है अभी। तो अभी एडिशनल डीएसपी फोन किए थे मेरे को।
One Indian Navy officer, Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, who was posted in Kochi, had also been killed in the Pahalgam terror attack while he was on leave. He is a native of Haryana and got married on 16th April.
हमारे पड़ोस में ही है नरवाल जी। अभी शादी हुई थी इनकी, 4 दिन पहले रिसेप्शन थी। सारी गली में खुशी का माहौल था। ये जानकारी मिली कि आतंकवादियों ने उनको पूछ के गोली मार दी है।
Now, world leaders strongly condemned the terror attack on tourists in Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday and reiterated their unflinching support for India's fight against terrorism. US President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Israel's Foreign Minister were among the world leaders who condemned the terror attack. US President Donald Trump reiterated United States support for India in its fight against terrorism. Trump wrote on Truth Social, and I quote him here, "Deeply disturbing news out of Kashmir. The United States stands strong with India against terrorism. We pray for the souls of those lost and for the recovery of the injured. Prime Minister Modi and the incredible people of India have our full support and deepest sympathies. Our hearts are all with you." Trump spoke with Prime Minister Narendra Modi thereafter and expressed deepest condolences at the loss of innocent lives in the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir. In a post on X, official spokesperson of India's Ministry for External Affairs, Randhir Jaiswal, wrote, and I quote him, "President Donald Trump called PM Narendra Modi and conveyed his deepest condolences at the loss of innocent lives in the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir. President Trump strongly condemned the terror attack and expressed full support to India to bring justice to the perpetrators of this heinous attack. India and the United States stand together in the fight against terror," unquote. So, US Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance, who are on a 4-day visit to India, extended their condolences to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack on Tuesday. In a post on X, the US Vice President wrote, Usha and I extend our condolences to the victims of the devastating terrorist attack in Pahalgam, India. Over the past few days, we've been overcome with the beauty of this country and its people. Our thoughts and prayers are with them as they mourn this horrific attack. Now, the US State Department has condemned Tuesday's terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam district. In a post on X, it said, "The US strongly condemns the terrorist attack in Kashmir. Nothing can justify such a heinous act, killing tourists and civilians. Our thoughts are with those who've lost their loved ones. We continue to monitor the situation and call for perpetrators to be held accountable." In a letter to President Murmu and Prime Minister Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin also expressed condolences over the Pahalgam terror attack. He wrote, and I quote him, "Please accept the deepest condolences over the tragic consequences of the terrorist attack near the town of Pahalgam that claimed the lives of civilians, citizens of various countries. There can be no justification for this brutal crime. We expect that its sponsors and perpetrators will be duly punished. I would like to reiterate the readiness for further strengthening of cooperation with the Indian partners in the fight against all forms and manifestations of terrorism. Please convey words of sincere sympathy and support to the near and dear ones of the deceased, as well as wishes for speedy recovery of all injured." Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipov, extended his condolences to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack on Tuesday. In a post on X, the Russian ambassador wrote, and I quote him, "Deepest condolences to the people and the government of India over the heinous terror attack against tourists in Pahalgam. Russia resolutely stands with India." Further, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni also expressed condolences of the Pahalgam attack in a message shared on social media platform X. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni conveyed her deep sorrow over the recent attack in Pahalgam. She expressed solidarity with the families of the victims, the injured and the Indian government, extending Italy's support to the people of India during this difficult time. Extending condolences to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack, Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Saar said, and I quote, "Deeply saddened by the heinous terror attack on tourists in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, our thoughts are with the victims and their families. Israel stands united with India in the fight against terror." So EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen also condemned the killing of gunmen in Kashmir as a vile terror attack, but said India's spirit is unbreakable. So DD India's Dibendu Mondal is tracking the story from New Delhi on the world reaction so far. Dibendu, there has been unequivocal condemnation by world leaders. Give us a sense of how world leaders have reacted in one voice to this heinous Pahalgam terror attack.
Well, Tanvi, you just read out multiple tweets and messages from across the world leaders who have equivocally condemned this heinous terrorist attack on unarmed civilians who had gone to enjoy a holiday in the meadows of Pahalgam. So, of course, this gives out a sense that the world stands united beside India to fight this terrorism, to fight terrorism tooth and nail. And of course, the message is loud and clear from across the world leaders that today they stand united against the fight against terrorism. So of course, it's a strong message from across different leaders of the world, including US President Donald Trump, who also had a phone call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi to express his condolences and extend all support that is needed to wipe out terrorism from India and from the land of Kashmir. So of course, even the Russian President Vladimir Putin did put out a message saying that you just read out, saying that he expresses deepest condolences and sympathies with the families of those who have been affected due to this terrorist attack and people who have lost their lives. So, of course, even Iran, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Saudi Arabia, who had to cut short his visit and come back to India because of this dastardly attack that took away over a dozen lives in the meadows of Pahalgam, who had gone to enjoy their holiday. So, of course, even Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a meeting with MBS of MBS Salman with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia yesterday, and they held detailed discussions about this entire incident in Jammu and Kashmir, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia did give his assurance that Saudi Arabia is by the side of India, and all measures that needs to be taken to wipe out terrorism and to bring the perpetrators of this heinous crime to justice. Saudi Arabia stands by India, and of course, nations like the UAE, Iran, Sri Lanka have all expressed their condolences and message of support to India and the grieving families who have lost their near and dear ones. So today, the world stands once again united against terrorism and against terror activities that have been carried out across the world, not just in India. But of course, this terrorist attack that comes at a time when Kashmir was going back to its days of glory and tourism was at its peak, will in fact give some sort of back foot to the tourism industry in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But of course, when we talk of the world leaders and how the world has reacted to this terrorist attack in India, the world seems to stand united against terrorist activities and the terror activities in India.
Yes, Dibendu, request you to stay with us in news just coming in. An infiltration attempt by suspected terrorists was foiled by alert Indian Army troops along the line of control in the Uri sector of North Kashmir's Baramulla district. Army sources said that 2 to 3 unidentified terrorists tried to sneak into Indian territory through the Sarjeevan area. Troops deployed at forward locations detected the movement and challenged the infiltrators, leading to a brief but intense exchange of fire. Security forces have cordoned off the area, and a search operation is in progress to track down any remaining terrorists who may have retreated into the dense forest terrain. This infiltration bid comes at a time of heightened alert levels across Jammu and Kashmir following the Pahalgam terror attack that left 26 people dead. And let me go back to our correspondent Dibendu Mondal on the reaction received on this heinous terror attack in Pahalgam from across the world. Dibendu, Secretary General of the Muslim World League, also condemned the terror attack yesterday in Jammu and Kashmir. The Secretary General offered deepest condolences on innocent lives lost. So the gory details that have come out from this terrorist attack is that religion was first identified and used to, target people. And what message is sent across when the Muslim World League Secretary General, Saudi Arabia Crown Prince, also condemn such distinction on the basis of, religion to target people?
Well, Tanvi, this is the state of affair that is being reported by the victims and the family members of the victims that were present at the scene of the crime when this terrorist attack did take place. And of course, these are gory details, as you said, that religion was identified, of the victims' religions were identified and then shot at, if these reports are true. So of course, this perhaps would bring, and as you said, that the Muslim world have now come united, and we have seen tweets from across all the Gulf nations as well, condemning this attack and standing by the side of India. So of course, this perhaps gives out a clear message that religion cannot be used to target innocent civilians, and terrorism cannot be used as a tool to propagate ideologies. So, of course, this message from the Muslim world stands very, very strong and clear against the nefarious activities of the terrorist organizations, most of which are backed by our neighbor Pakistan. And this attack is being reported to have taken place done by an offshoot group of the LET, Lashkar-e-Taiba, who is very much active in Pakistan. So, of course, the Muslim world perhaps could leave the side of Pakistan and is trying to give a clear message to Pakistan that, if you don't leave your terrorist activities behind, the Muslim world will not support you and will not stand by you. And this message from the Muslim world to Pakistan perhaps is very, very clear that you cannot use religion and terrorist activities to prove your point. And therefore, there are messages of dialogue and peace which should be adopted by Pakistan, who has been carrying out these attacks in India over time. But of course, yesterday's attack on innocent civilians and tourists who had gone to, celebrate their holidays, some as we have been reporting, that had gone to spend their honeymoon just a couple of days after they got married, is something that is unpardonable, even in fact, unpardonable by any country or any humans across the world. So, of course, the message is loud and clear that that each nation stands by India and the people of India during this grievous time. In fact, during this grieving time of this attack that has taken place and have taken the lives of 26 innocent people who had just gone to celebrate their holiday in a state like Jammu and Kashmir, which is beautiful. I've been to this particular place of Pahalgam, and this is actually that reflects Switzerland, as the locals also do call it, as mini Switzerland. So, of course, terrorist attack on unarmed civilians is something that no one across the world has taken it lightly, and therefore have been condemning it equivocally and we are hearing voices that condemn this attack equivocally from across the world.
Terrorism is intolerable and there is no religion of terrorists. Thank you very much, Dibendra Mondal, for tracking this story for us. And we are heading into a short break here on DD India News Hour. We'll be back in just a bit. Stay with us.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India News. I'm Tanvi Taneja. A quick reminder of the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi returns after cutting short his Saudi Arabia visit, holds urgent security meet at the airport immediately upon his arrival, briefed by External Affairs Minister, National Security Advisor and Foreign Secretary. Search operation for the gruesome attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam continues. At least 26 killed and several injured. Efforts on to bring the attackers to justice. Union Home Minister Amit Shah, JNK, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and Chief Minister Omar Abdullah hold key meetings on terror attack, vow to neutralize the terrorists. World leaders condemn Pahalgam terror attack, extend unstinted support to India, calls it a deeply disturbing news and a brutal crime. India's Civil Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu has assured that all necessary measures will be taken and special arrangements will be made to facilitate the return of the bodies at the earliest. In view of the prevailing situation in Jammu and Kashmir, Air India and Indigo will operate a total of 4 additional flights from Srinagar to Delhi and Mumbai on Wednesday. Air India operates 5 flights from Delhi and Mumbai to Srinagar daily. The airline is also offering complimentary rescheduling and full refunds on cancellations to passengers with confirmed bookings till April the 30th on these sectors. To support those travelling to and from Srinagar, private carrier Indigo is offering waivers for cancellation or rescheduling. Indigo operates 20 flights from Srinagar daily. Guests booked to travel on Air India Express flights from or to Srinagar until 30th April are being offered the flexibility to reschedule their travel with a complete waiver of date change fees and fare difference. It connects Srinagar directly to 5 destinations: Bengaluru, Delhi, Hyderabad, Jammu and Kolkata, with around 80 weekly flights. So in a heartfelt show to express solidarity and condemnation, local residents in Jammu and Kashmir held a candlelight march on Tuesday, mourning the loss of innocent lives in Pahalgam terror attack. Residents turned up for a candlelight march at several places in the state against the gruesome terror attack. Locals in Baramulla, Srinagar, Poonch and Kupawada districts also held a candlelight vigil. Locals in Akhnoor area of the territory also held candlelight march, protesting against the Pahalgam terror attack. So as our correspondent was reporting, in Jammu and Kashmir, the Valley business and travel trade bodies have announced a Kashmir Bandh in protest against the barbaric killing on Tuesday. The statement was jointly issued by the Chamber of Commerce and Industries Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir Hoteliers Club, all travel associations, transporters, restaurant owners and civil society groups. In Jammu region, the Jammu Bandh has also been called by business bodies and a cross-section of society. After the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam, major cities including Delhi and Mumbai have been placed on high alert. In response to the attack, the Delhi police ramped up security across the city, focusing particularly on tourist hotspots and border checkpoints. According to Delhi police sources, Delhi police has been instructed to keep a close watch on tourist places and other important areas in the city. On the terror attack in Pahalgam, President Draupadi Murmu wrote on X, and I quote her, "The terrorist attack on tourists in Pahalgam of Jammu and Kashmir is shocking and painful. It is a dastardly and inhuman act which must be condemned unequivocally. Attacking innocent citizens, in this case tourists, is utterly appalling and unpardonable. My heartfelt condolences to the families who've lost their near and dear ones, and my prayers for the quick recovery of the injured." Similarly, Vice President of India also condemned the gruesome attack and wrote on X, "Deeply anguished by the horrific terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, such acts of violence and are reprehensible and deserve our strongest condemnation. My thoughts and prayers are with the affected families in this hour of grief." Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister of India, Nirmala Sitharaman, also cut short her official visit to the USA and Peru. On social media platform X, Nirmala Sitharaman condemned the terrorist act. She offered condolences to all affected families and friends of the deceased. She said those behind this heinous act will be brought to justice and will not be spared. Minister for Railways, Information and Broadcasting, Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, also condemned the attack. On X, the IT Minister said, strongly condemned the cowardly terrorist attack on innocent tourists in Pahalgam, J&K, heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims and prayers for the speedy recovery of the injured. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh RSS termed this terror attack as an attack on the country's unity and integrity and asked the government to take appropriate steps to punish the culprits. RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale in a tweet said, "The brutal terrorist attack on tourists in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir is extremely condemnable and painful. We pay tribute to all those who died in the incident and wish for the speedy recovery of the injured. The attack is an audacious attempt to attack the unity and integrity of the country. All political parties and organizations should rise above all differences and condemn it. The government should make necessary arrangements to help all the victims and their families, and the government should take appropriate steps soon to punish those responsible for this attack." So condolences are pouring in by world leaders condemning the dastardly attack on tourists in Pahalgam that claimed the lives of at least 26 people. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the terrorist attack in Kashmir utterly devastating and said that his thoughts were with those affected by the attack and the people of India. While condemning the terrorist attack, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said there is no justification for violence. And as we told you, Prime Minister Narendra Modi cut short his visit to Saudi Arabia due to the terrorist attack in Pahalgam. He left Jeddah on Tuesday night and arrived in Delhi early Wednesday morning. In Jeddah, the Prime Minister held detailed bilateral discussions with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the two co-chaired the meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council. DD India's Amritpal Singh reports on the outcomes.
In wake of the Tuesday's attack in Pahalgam, the Prime Minister cut short his visit to Saudi Arabia, leaving in a few hours. The Prime Minister on Tuesday arrived around noontime. He held a meeting with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. The two sides had extensive discussions on investment, trade. Of course, terrorism figured prominently in the talks between the two leaders. The Saudi prince condemned the incident along with Prime Minister Modi and offered his condolences, sympathies and also support on the issue of terrorism to India. During the Strategic Partnership Council meeting, it was decided to expand the scope of the council, and two committees were added: defense, on defense cooperation, and culture and tourism. The four agreements that were signed between the two sides include one in the area of space, another in the between the Department of Posts, also in the area of health, as well as in between the anti-doping agencies of the two countries. It was also agreed to set up two refineries in India by the Saudis. Overall, it was a productive meeting, but a very short one. The Prime Minister also interacted briefly with the Indian community. A 2.7 million strong presence of the Indian community is here in Saudi Arabia. He interacted with them before the Prime Minister went on for his meeting with the Crown Prince. The two sides reaffirmed their commitment to the IMEC the corridor that passes through the Middle East right up to Europe, to expedite on things and to make up for the time lost. With cameraman S. Jaishankar, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Jeddah.
So the two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, agreed to expand the scope of the existing Strategic Partnership Council. They also welcomed the decision on establishing two oil refineries as joint ventures in India.
The Prime Minister's bilateral meeting was very fruitful, substantial and forward-looking. Both the leaders discussed the full spectrum of bilateral relations, including energy partnership, defense, trade, investments, technology, culture, and people-to-people ties. Prime Minister and His Royal Highness also discussed the progress in the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor, and both the leaders agreed that it is a vision which is beneficial to everyone in the region, and they agreed to expedite the work on the IMEC.
During the meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Jeddah, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman condemned the Pahalgam terror attack and offered help to India. India's ambassador to Saudi Arabia said Suhail Ajaz Khan.
The meeting began with the reference to the unfortunate terror attack that has happened in India. Both the leaders expressed their condemnation for the terror attack. His Royal Highness Crown Prince conveyed his condolences and sympathies and offered any help in this regard to us.
Moving on now, the Catholic world is mourning the loss of the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City, Pope Francis, who passed away on April 21st. Images have now surfaced from the Vatican showing the mortal remains of Pope Francis laid in a wooden coffin in the chapel of Casa Santa Marta. The Pope is surrounded by Swiss guards holding vigil alongside the clergy. Notably, Santa Marta served as the official residence of Pope Francis throughout his 20-year papacy until his passing. According to Vatican media sources, Pope Francis' funeral is likely to be scheduled for Saturday, April the 26th. Deceased Pope Francis' mortal remains, which were taken to the chapel of his residence on late April 21st, the day of his death, will be carried into St. Peter's Basilica for public viewing and prayers early on April 23rd. The public viewing was scheduled to end late April 25th with another prayer service to close the coffin. And in some business news now, the International Monetary Fund on Tuesday slashed its growth forecasts for the United States, China and most countries, citing the impact of US tariffs now at 100-year highs. The IMF released an update to its world economic outlook after US President Donald Trump announced universal tariffs on nearly all trading partners and higher rates. The IMF now forecasts global growth at 2.8% for 2025, a sharp 0.5 percentage points reduction from its January estimate, with a further slowdown to 3% projected for 2026. The IMF has called the report a reference forecast based on developments through April 4th, citing the extreme complexity and fluidity of the current moment. IMF chief economist Pierre-Olivier Gourinchas said these forecasts were based on developments up to April the 4th, and the situation remains highly uncertain. He said that the rapid rise in tariffs and unclear policies are creating serious challenges for the global economy.
Beyond the abrupt increase in tariffs, the surge in policy uncertainty is a major driver of the economic outlook. If sustained, the increase in trade tensions and uncertainty will slow global growth significantly.
CEO Elon Musk began his company's earnings call on Tuesday by saying that his time spent running President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency will drop significantly starting in May. Musk said he will cut back his role in Trump administration as the company's latest profits and revenues showed a plunge during the beginning of the year. Musk's comment came after his company reported disappointing first quarter results, including a 20% year-on-year slump in automotive revenue and 71% plunge in net incomes. In addition to the challenges the company already faced, such as competition out of China and an aging fleet of electric vehicles, Tesla has recently been hit with protests in the United States and Europe and brand damage due to Musk's ties to Trump and his support of Germany's far-right AfD party. And time now for some sporting action on DD India News Hour. In cricket, KL Rahul smashed a half-century and guided Delhi Capitals to an 8-wicket victory over his former franchise Lucknow Super Giants in their IPL clash on Tuesday night. Delhi's foundation for the victory was established by opener Abhishek Purell alongside his excellent batting performance. Akshar Patel also played a crucial knock with the bat. Meanwhile, captain Rishabh Pant proved yet again to be disappointing by losing his wicket without scoring a run during the match. Pant came out to bat at number 7 as Lucknow managed a total of only 159. Only Aiden Markram stood up for Lucknow, slamming a 50 and taking 2 wickets. The win has strengthened Delhi's position to qualify for the playoffs because of their improved chances. Indian shooter Simranpreet Kaur Brar bagged silver medal in the women's 25-meter pistol at the ISSF Shooting World Cup on Tuesday. The Indian shooter registered a total of 33 hits in the 10 series of 5 rapid-fire shots final. Double Olympic medalist Manu Bhaker came in 4th in the final with a score of 22, while Isha Singh, one half of the mixed team pistol world champions, finished 6th with 17 hits. Overall, India finished their campaign in the 3rd spot with 2 golds, 4 silvers and a bronze. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.
Geopolitics and